Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. It's episode number 212, and it's April the 4th, 2023. Getting closer to when we leave for Vancouver. Another less than 2 weeks, about 10 days, something like that. Anyways, let's look at what I've been working on in the meantime. So this one you've seen in bits and pieces. It is now completely done. I call it Scraps, Stars, and Leaves. Leaves. Why do I call it Scraps, Stars, and Leaves? No, I don't. I call it Scraps and Stars. That's what I call it. Yeah, it's a little early here. Okay, anyways, this is all made up of scrappy pieces of fabric. The ones in the center are the scrappy pieces, very colorful. I just sewed little bits and pieces together, then cut them out to the sizes that I want it for the block. And it is a star block. If you look at it carefully, you will see the stars. And those fabrics came from the set of fabrics called Poured that Walter bought me not last Christmas, Christmas before. And I made the quilt called Mosaic Stars by Stephanie Stitches in those, and you've seen that before. But these pieces were just too pretty to get rid of, so I just sewed them all together and cut them out into flying geese and made these stars. But then I needed a little bit more to fill this quilt out, and it evolved from there. And I had some orphan blocks, Lemoyne star blocks, and I had been experimenting with my AccuQuilt die that I had bought for Lemoyne stars. And originally I thought, when I made a bunch of these, that I would turn these into a quilt. But I didn't. And they're sitting there in the box, and I thought, well, let's just use them up because they're just going to sit in that box forever. And so I added those, added some borders and whatnot, and I have it quilted, and I was experimenting on this. This whole thing was an experiment, basically. So I wasn't that concerned whether or not, if I made more mistakes on it, it didn't really matter. Well, I had this quilting design, which is a feather design, that I wanted to use on my Color Splash quilt, but I was afraid I would blow it, and the Color Splash quilt, which is the one with all the applique, you've seen it before, I was afraid that, I get quilting and I have a problem go wrong, and I didn't want to wreck that quilt. So I did it on this one, and I'm glad I did, because I had some problems, as I told you last week, with Lucy, using variegated threads and that, and I have since solved that problem. And this whole little quilt, it's a good size lap quilt. It's not huge. Quilt it without a problem. Not even a thread break. Amazing. So I was very pleased with the way it turned out. It's not a quilt that I would necessarily give to somebody. I don't know. It might make a good charity quilt or something, although, as I said, it's not that big. It's, the size of a lap quilt. And yeah, so it's in my supply of things, waiting for someplace to go, I guess. I don't think I'd really give it to anybody that I knew because, well, it's not my best work. Okay, so what else have I been working on? Well, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this pattern later today, but I got real excited when I saw this pattern, and it wasn't in these colors, but as soon as I saw maple leaves on it, I thought, Canada Day, it screams Canada Day. It's a stylized log cabin. And so I had a lot of this old Canada fabric from Northcott in my stash. So I got it out. Actually, I went down to Ultimate Sewing and bought some more of it, and I'm working on this now. And I think it's going to make a great Canada Day quilt. But I am going to talk about the pattern later on in today's episode, so stay tuned for that. And I'll come back to, well, I might as well show you that too. So as I said, I went to Ultimate Sewing and I picked up some fabrics. So you can see I got some more of those old Canada fabrics right here. I love that line from Northcott. I hope they never stop making it, because it's just got so much potential. And I love making quilts that have a Canadian theme to them. Now, these two quilts sort of have a Canadian theme, since it's legal here in Canada. The marijuana leaves. I thought these were really pretty. And when we went in the store, I said to Walter, I'd love a shirt made out of this one, the one with the dark background. So he got 3 meters of it, and he's working on a shirt for me, a short sleeve shirt. So I'm hoping he has it ready for when we go to Vancouver, but we'll see. Of course, that's pending whether the weather in Vancouver will be warm enough to wear a short sleeve shirt. I think it might be, but I bought a couple of meters of it, and I bought a couple of meters of the one with the white background, same one, just a white background. What am I going to do with them? I don't know, but they're fun. I'll have to look for maybe a simple pattern to show off the fabric in it down the road. And then I bought this fat quarter bundle, and this is chrome, and I think it's by Northcott. Yeah, it is by Northcott. I should have turned it on its side, but it is so pretty, the colors in it. I couldn't resist it. So, I mean, when I went for this little shopping spree, I only went in to see if they had some of these. And yeah, as always, I come out with a lot more. So that was what I was up to last week. Now I have started the All-Star Quilt by Stephanie Stitches. And that one, I don't really have a picture of it yet. I'm working on the stars. There are 10 star blocks in the pattern, and I have done 5 of them, and you have to make 2 of each. So I've got 10 blocks made. Have to get to work on the other 5. I think it's going to be a really neat quilt, but Stephanie designs patterns. If you've never done one of Stephanie's patterns, you need to go to her Etsy store and get some, because you won't be disappointed. They are so easy to follow, and the end result is spectacular, always. So she was doing this one as a sew along, I think, on Saturday, late Saturday afternoons, early evening. And those are not a good time for me to join in on something that's live like that. But she was posting the blocks free download on her blog. Now, I don't know how long she's going to keep those there, but I have them all. And yeah, so I'm really excited about it. So essentially, I am working on 2 quilts at once. The Canada Day 1 log cabin, I call it the Canada Day Maple Leaf Log Cabin Quilt. That's not its real name from the pattern, but you'll see that in a moment. And I'm working on Stephanie's All-Star Quilt as well. Yeah, keeps me busy. Okay, so speaking of Stephanie, tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 5th, at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, we will have another session of Sew with Stephanie and Stephen. That is a Zoom. It is not a YouTube Live. So anybody is welcome to join us. We're just working together. And also tomorrow in the afternoon, starting at 1 p.m., I have my monthly craft and chat. So potentially it's an all-day sewing thing that you can be part of. The only trick is that I will end the Sew with Stephanie and Stephen at about 12 noon, break for lunch, and at 1 o'clock, the link to join back in will be the craft and chat link, and both of those links are in the show note below. So please read the title for each link so you don't get mixed up, because it's easy enough to do. Okay, in other words, make sure you're clicking the right link for the right time. Okay, what else? Oh, okay, I did buy something new this week, and I just want to go in here and see if I can find it to show you. I do have a link. I bought some new scissors, and I bought them from one of my favorite sites, and that's LDH Scissors. And they are a great company. They are Canadian. They're based out of Toronto. And I have several pairs of their scissors, and I love them. Absolutely love them. And these ones, I was looking for a new pair of scissors to cut batting. I had a set that I had gotten, I think, from someplace, Whirls N Swirls or something like that, and they're just plain dull. Now, I've had them for a while. I could probably go and take them and get them sharpened, but I've decided not to. Now, then I saw these ones. Pricey, as you can see, $80 Canadian. By the time I was done with tax and shipping, shipping is pretty reasonable. It was about $105, something like that. But these are 14 inches long, and they are sharp. They're a lethal weapon. I can tell you that. Of course, they work with left-handed and right-handed people because of the way the system works. That's the only thing. I'm not used to this kind of system, but I used them the other day and they worked like a charm. So yeah, these are excellent. And if you've never checked out LDH, just do a search. Just put in LDH scissors into Google. You'll find their website. They have lots to choose from, different colors. Do check their seconds. And their seconds are just that the finish maybe has a little mark somewhere. I have bought a pair of scissors from them that were seconds. I got them. They were about $20 cheaper. And they work fine. It's not a problem. In fact, I can't even find where the mark is on the scissors. So yeah, so those I have, and I'm very happy with them. Okay, so let's go down to updates on the spring retreat. As you know, it is full. I have established a waiting list, so there will be people who will cancel in the next few weeks before we get to May the 6th. Life will happen to them and they will have to cancel. And so if you're on the waiting list, I will put you on the main list. So don't despair. If you missed out on getting registered, you know, I said you snooze, you lose. Let me know that you want to be on the waiting list, and there's a good chance right now that you could end up getting on the main list for the retreat. So things are coming along very nicely with that. Just a reminder to those of you who are registered for the retreat, if you'd like to be part of the show and share that day, please send me one picture of one of your creations. No blurb is necessary, and just one picture, and I will add you to the trunk show for that. Okay, and I've already mentioned Craft and Chat and Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. So those are events that are happening tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 5th. Okay, so that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week, and this comes from a regular subscriber to YouTube, to my YouTube channel, and we have seen beautiful creations from this individual before, and here's another one, and this is by Cheryl Curley. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Cheryl Curley, and Cheryl Curley created this star quilt, which is called the Stargazer quilt, during the sew-along that myself and Stephanie hosted. And now she has it completely done, and it looks absolutely spectacular. And Cheryl says, finally finished and washed, waiting for its new home. It will be going to Georgia for one of my husband's cousins who has hosted us during many family reunions. And Cheryl's done a beautiful job of this. The stars really pop out on here. And the secondary designs also are there and very evident. And if we take a look at her quilting, it looks fantastic. Now, I don't know if Cheryl did this quilting herself or whether she sent it out to a long armor, but either way, it just really finishes the quilt off very nicely. So thank you, Cheryl, for sharing your beautiful creation with us. And I know that the recipients of this are going to very much love it and appreciate it. And that takes me to the YouTube of the week, and it's called Sewjo Quilty Stitchy Things. Try and say that fast 5 times. This week's YouTube channel of the week comes from somebody that I just finished interviewing, and you can check out her interview on my channel, and it's Mary Jo. And Mary Jo's YouTube channel is called Sewjo Quilty Stitchy Things, and it is a great YouTube channel if you want to know everything there is to know about all kinds of different sampler boxes, especially the cotton cuts boxes. She also has a trunk show on here. She also has some things on weekly updates where she doesn't just talk about quilting, but she talks about embroidery, crochet, and other topics as well. Mary Jo has a very delightful and friendly personality, and her videos definitely show that as well. So if you're looking for inspiration, if you're looking for new products, if you're looking for just a good time with a really nice person, then be sure to support Sewjo Quilty Stitchy Things. Mary Jo, I'm sure, would appreciate it. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to talk a little bit about the pattern that I'm making the Canada Day Maple Leaf Log Cabin quilt from. And the pattern is actually called Fall at Home, and it's by Chelsea Stratton Designs. And well, here's what this is all about. This week's future project is called Fall at Home, and it's by Chelsea Stratton Designs. This is a pay for pattern, and I absolutely fell in love with it when I first saw it this past week. The reason being is it's the maple leaves on the log cabin. It's definitely a little different design. It's got the traditional log cabin, but with a twist with the maple leaf. And as soon as I saw the maple leaf on it, I thought to myself, yes, I need to make this quilt for Canada Day because I have some of my Canadian fabric left over. And this does say it's fat quarter friendly. So I'm sure I can use that and I can create a really great looking Canada Day type quilt. So I want to get started on that as soon as possible because, Canada Day is July the 1st, and that's not all that far away. And you know how we get busy and can't get to our projects. I can't share any more of the pattern with you because, as I said, it is a paid for pattern, but you can pick this up on Chelsea's Etsy store. So just go to Etsy and look for Chelsea Stratton Designs, and you'll be able to find this particular pattern. Again, it's called Fall at Home, and I'm looking very much forward to doing this pattern. Now, I did mention a few minutes ago the YouTube channel of the week, which was Sewjo Quilty Stitchy Things. Well, that happens to be put up by Mary Jo, and I interviewed Mary Jo, and the interview is now live on my channel. But here is a little teaser to that interview.
Well, I'd like to say I've been quilting about 10 years, but I've been sewing for about 15-ish, I would say.
Okay, so what were you sewing before you got into quilting? Clothing or?
Yeah, I was sewing garments. I was sewing for my daughter because I started sewing when my daughter was not quite 3, and I had a son that wasn't quite 1 at the time. Just before he turned 1 and my daughter turned 3, I started sewing garments, and I was sewing, pajamas and dresses for my daughter and myself. And then it kind of led to quilting. But even before that, I mean, I don't consider it my first quilt, but I did make a puff quilt even before my children.
Oh, okay.
So,
So I was
and
going to
that
ask
took a
you
couple
then.
years to make.
Yes, okay, I can understand that, especially if it's your first one. So what got you into quilting then? What inspired you to do quilting?
I'm not really sure. I was sewing, like I said, I was sewing dresses, I was sewing all the time. I really enjoyed sewing. And then I was also crocheting. I crochet a lot. And my husband one day told me I needed to stop crocheting because we had too many blankets. So, kind of as a joke, I said, okay. I stopped crocheting and then I took up quilting.
And that takes me to the online quilting store for this week. And it is one that's not that far away from me, probably about an hour's drive. And I might someday take a little day trip and go to where this store is located and check it out. And it's called Red Bobbin. This week's online quilt store is called Red Bobbin. That's right, not Robin, but Bobbin. Red Bobbin. And here is their front page of their website. And let's just take a look at what they're showing on here to get a feel for what we might find inside. So they have for all your fabric quilting and long arm needs, and they're showing you what's new. Some very pretty fabrics here, and definitely it looks like they carry Cape facet fabrics, which people just love. Um, and then they have a few other pictures of what's happening. They have a sign up for a newsletter, and they are located in Ontario, in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. So it might be worth a drive to go out and check their physical store. So let's just get rid of that off the screen there, and let's delve into this. So let's go to shop, and let's check out fabric. So now, do we have fabric? How is the fabric organized? I guess you can sort by newest price, and name. Okay, so we don't have any sidebar or anything listing manufacturers here, so I guess you just do some browsing. Beautiful K facet fabrics. Now they're showing this at $8.98. I imagine that is for a half meter. Now prices do vary. $9.98. Wide backs $15.98 a half meter, so that puts it at about $31 a meter. And fabric two is at about $18 a meter, which is right in sort of the middle of the current prices. But it does go up as high as, let's see, doing the math here, $19 a meter. So, it's not out of the way. That's pretty much standard pricing now. Some very nice looking fabric. I just go back here, spiral shells, brown. That's really cool. I'm just going to click on that just to verify uh, what it says about the fabric length. Fabric off the bolt is sold by the half yard. Okay. Pet peeve. They're selling it by the yard. They're not selling it by the meter. Um, and it tells you how much they have of it left in stock. Okay. So that's good to know. Okay, well, let's take a look at pre-cuts and see what they have to offer in that. Okay, they have some fat quarter bundles, charm packages, charm packs, layer cakes. Um, Not a lot here unless this is just, let's see if they have others. No. Okay, so they don't really have a great selection of pre-cuts. What else can we look at? Let's take a look at quilt kits. Okay, so they have a few here, various prices. And prices again aren't shocking. They're pretty much what you'd expect. They have a few. Okay, again, it's not the world's best selection, but it's not bad. Let's go down to books and see what we have. And they've got one, making quilts. Okay, that's one section they need to fill out a little bit more. Then they have completed quilts. So I guess you can buy, um, probably these were samplers or something, maybe. So if you want to buy a ready-made quilt, they have a few to choose from. And prices are about, again, standard for what you'd find for a small quilt. Okay, services. They have quilting services. They have custom quilts and classes. Okay, let's check out the classes and see what we have to choose from here. There are currently no classes currently scheduled. We're enjoying our summer weather. Check back for fall classes. Okay, that was written some time ago because we are not in summer yet. We're heading towards it. They say stay tuned by signing up for a newsletter. And in the meantime, we sell quilt kits to tickle your imagination, keep you busy. Okay, yeah, really not into a lot of classes at the moment. Okay, about us. Let's see what they have to say about themselves. Older couple, we are Jim and Louise of Red Bobbin Quilt Shop in Brantford, Ontario. We started as long arm quilters, which is still our main focus, but our passion has now become a full line quilt shop with over 1,500 bolts of unique fabric, tools, books, patterns, more. We try to do justice to every fabric by showing our customers the potential in every bolt. We believe that every quilt tells a story and deserves a name. See below for some of our favorite quilts and the stories. We open Red Bobbin to help people feel inspired and encouraged to create. Come and enjoy the warm surroundings, shelves of bright contemporary fabric, and professional yet personal service. See you soon. So, I don't know from what I've seen on their website whether this is worth the drive for me to Brantford. Maybe. If I was in the area, I would definitely drop in and see what the store's all about. Um, Events. Uh, doesn't look like they have any events currently. Okay. Sowing seeds. I don't know what that is. Let's check it out. The purpose of sowing seeds is to share in a welcoming and friendly environment our joy of sewing with all ourselves and communities and beyond. Amen. We work on quilts for Quilts of Valor Canada. Okay. They have contributions. So they have it. I guess this is part of their charity program. And you can contact them if you wish to find out more about this program. Okay, that's good. All right, so what more can I say about Red Bobbin? Well, I am wondering if the web page is relatively new, so there's probably more to come. Um, yeah, some interesting things on here. Prices are okay. Oh, shipping. I never checked out shipping. Uh, let's see. What did they say about their shipping prices? I imagine it's by Canada Post. Um, okay. Shipping. Here we go. Um, okay. Yes, this definitely suggests here that they are still developing their website because this says, I am a shipping policy section. I'm a great place to update your customers about your shipping methods, packaging, and costs. So this has not yet been filled in. So let's do a little experiment. Let's do some fake buying of fabric. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put in two because that'll give me a meter. Add to cart. There it is. Subtotal 1796. View cart. Okay, doesn't say anything here about shipping, checkout, shipping isn't here, delivery method. Okay, it looks like I can't find out about shipping until I've filled in all of this information. I really don't want to do this online, so what I'm going to do is I'll come right back to this. Okay, so what I found out about their shipping is it looks like it's $5 and it looks like it might be a flat rate, which I really don't understand because that is pretty cheap. So I have a feeling that they haven't really got this down yet. Because I just can't believe that no matter how much you buy, they're only going to charge you $5 for shipping. Um, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyways, so that's Red Bobbin. You might want to check it out, especially if you like K facet fabrics, because they seem to have a fair selection of those in stock. And so I've pretty much covered everything that's coming up in the next while. But one thing that was exciting this past week, I was interviewed by Amanda from Not Your Granny's Quilt Show. If you remember, I did an interview with Amanda, and that went up about a week ago. And I guess turnaround is fair play. Amanda approached me to do an interview, and so we have done it. And I don't know when she's going to be posting it. She did say probably around the tail end of April, around April 24th or something like that. So this is going to be interesting. And she has definitely a different approach to interviews in terms of her questioning than I do, which is all fine. Um, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy that whenever it comes out. So watch for, if you're not subscribed to, you might want to subscribe to Not Your Granny's Quilt Show. And that's where she will have this probably posted. But as I said, not until the end of April. But she has other interviews on there. She does a lot of interviews with some very interesting people as well. So you might want to check that out. So I think that's it for me this week. We'll see some of you, I'm sure, tomorrow, either for Sew with Stephanie and Stephen or for Craft and Chat or both. And just a little bit of a tease here. I might have another pop-up sew day this coming Saturday. Now, I haven't decided on this for sure because I just had one this past Saturday. And the only way you're going to know about that is if you're on my mailing list for the pop-up sew days. And if you're not on the mailing list, all you need to do if you want to be on it is send me an email links in the show notes, with your name, first and last, please, real names, and your email address. And I will be happy. I'll be very happy to add you to my mailing list. And when I have a pop-up sew day, you'll get information about that when it happens. Not saying I'm having one for sure this coming Saturday. I mean, it is Easter weekend. People are probably busy, but then again, maybe they're not. So I might. It all depends. That's why it's called pop-up, because you can never be absolutely sure. I'm a nasty person, aren't I? Okay, enough for me today, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.